print him out a couple of copies of it.
You
He
don't want
loves
to
when you
stand
do
beside
that.
me is all I'm saying.
All right, so we had a little like my daughter would say, tea this weekend.
Yep.
WNBA
You used
game.
that in the right context, by the way. I'm proud of you.
Look at me. I'm making progress. My daughter would be so proud. All right, so you get Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Chicago, Indiana, going at it.
Yep.
Angel Reese is going up for a layup. Caitlin Clark comes in, the hard foul, across her arms, and kind of gives her a nice hard shot. So she fouls her, go to the line to earn it, and I don't want you to get a 3-point play, so I got to really foul you.
Yep.
And so Caitlin Clark, it was a good hard foul to Angel Reese. I don't think it was anything dirty. It was just a good hard foul, so she couldn't, get the hoop and force her to go to the line. So Clark fouls Reese. Reese gets up, starts walking toward Clark. Then Aaliyah Boston is going to stop Reese from getting to Clark, and some of Clark's Indiana teammates just kind of shoved her out of the way, saying, yeah, we don't want to just get out.
Reese did rear back. She had a...
Reese was going.
That hand was going back.
Reese was going.
Something was going to happen.
And that thing was a lot about nothing. Yes, it was just a hard foul. And I don't even know if Angel Reese really realized. I mean, it took maybe once Angel Reese realized it was Caitlin Clark that hard fouled her.
Yeah.
That she had more of a reaction than if it would have been like Aaliyah Boston, for an example, or someone else.
Sure.
On the Fever. But so a lot of it was made, blown up into a big thing post game. Let's start with here's Caitlin Clark, cut 11, Dave. Her perspective on this foul on Angel Reese.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't want you to get a layup. So the worst foul in that situation is the foul where you foul them, but you don't foul them hard enough and they get the N1.
Sure.
You want to foul them hard enough they can't get their arms up to get the N1.
Yep.
So I get what Caitlin Clark's doing, and she's right. It's just a foul to. I don't think Caitlin Clark was sitting there going, "Oh, Angel Reese has the ball.
Yeah,
I'm going to go hard foul her."
It's basketball strategy.
It's a basketball strategy play, right? And here's Angel Reese talking about it as well post game. Cut 12.
The flagrant foul from your perspective, just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, refs got it right, but then it's well, why did you react the way you did? If everybody got it right, with the heat of the moment,
Sure. Yeah, then nobody likes getting knocked out.
No, and then you realize it's Caitlin Clark, and that might have taken you a little bit of something too, because of the whatever this thing is that I think is not as much of a thing as we want to make it to be.
I don't think they like each other. I do think there's legit. I don't think they outright hate each other.
Yeah.
I just think that they don't like each other.
I will say this, and I think it goes. Look, it goes back to when they played a few years ago in the NCAA tournament in the Final Four for the championship, and I do believe that there was some stuff probably going on in that game we don't know about because people talk and they go back and forth. And then Reese did the ring thing.
Yep.
And let's say Clark didn't see it the first time. How many times does that thing get run on TV?
A lot. Constantly.
Yeah. So if you're Caitlin Clark because you're a competitor, you're sitting there going, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll follow that. We're good." And Angel Reese sees Caitlin Clark, and there might be a jealousy thing there, whatever it is. Or maybe Reese says, well, if I want a high profile, I've got to be her heel.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever
and
it
look,
is.
Caitlin Clark a better basketball player? Absolutely.
Sure.
But Angel Reese is still one of the more well-known names in the WNBA.
Mm-hmm. And I said to you on the phone earlier today, I said, it's almost like Gordon and Earnhardt.
Oh, yeah. No, they are the polar opposite of each other, and that's what makes this so interesting and compelling.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be indifferent on either one. You either love one and hate the other, or vice versa.
No.
Like, you just can't be like, I don't really care about either one. Like, you have an opinion on both of them, good or bad. And that's what makes this compelling. And quite frankly, if I'm the WNBA, I'm leaning into this.
I am stoking this fire,
like,
right?
This is your... Because, like, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi is, like, regarded as the greatest WNBA rivalry of all time. But there's never belief they hated each other. I think they were teammates at UConn. Like, they were just, like...
podcasts.
Again, it's like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. It's just two at the best at their game going head-to-head. And that's cool. But when you can add an element of hatred into that as well, then that makes it all the more compelling. So, again, if I'm the WNBA, and I said this earlier, you have a small window of time as one of the few sports going on in the summer before football comes in to hook people because they run their championship games in October, right? Nobody's paying attention to WNBA October because football, baseball, everything's going on then. If you want people to care about your product, you have to get them hooked in the summertime. This is an opportunity to do that.
Or if nothing else, you just take advantage of your window that you have before people move on from you.
Yes.
So, yeah, they're playing every week if I'm commissioner. Can I do that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's only like 8 teams, so why not?
You don't play all the time. It's just, look, it's good to get the word out for your sport. It just is. People love this stuff. There's been more said about this than about the game itself, which was a blowout that Indiana won.
Sure.
And so this is part of what can get people kind of like we'll go back to the NASCAR thing. One of the most compelling things about that wasn't just the racing.
Sure.
It was what went on in the pits.
It was the personality dynamic between the two, which is exactly what you have here.
Right. I mean, it's just so NBA.
Sure.
Take advantage of it.
Sure.
Let's get to Leah Boston. Here's her reaction. She got a technical in this whole thing because she was trying to, get in there. I mean, her teammate and doing all that stuff.
She kind of grabbed Reese's arms as she was cocking back to do whatever she was going to do.
And so here's Leah Boston, cut 13, Dave.
I got the tech.
I didn't know that.
Oh, first of all,
No. I know.
let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, yes, it wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded. But, again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that.
Well, girl.
Have fun paying that fine.
Can I get half? Can you send me a
I got it.
Oh,
Don't worry.
perfect. I wonder
Real
if you
hefty.
could.
Yeah, slide me some of that State Farm money.
Help me out. Maybe I can do it. Maybe do a commercial with you. I can pop up. You, me, and Jared, right? Not Jared. What's his name?
Jake.
Jake from State Farm. Yeah, Jared was a Subway guy we no longer speak of. We don't talk about that guy. I love Leah Boston. Wait a minute. I got the tech? Really? But no, it's just something, again, that leans into getting your sport in the world we're in today where there's 5 billion things pulling for your attention. This gives the WNBA something. Now, again, then you get goofy fans who go overboard and act like imbeciles and start doing things that they don't need to be doing online or social media or whatever. And that stuff is ridiculous. But this is good for the league.
Yeah.
It's good to get something out for the league.
It is. And look, the NBA thrives on being a star-driven league. And again, for the most of the NBA season, we're not talking about specifics of games. We're talking about what individuals are doing. The WNBA has the opportunity to do that with this new crop of stars. Paige Becker's now in the league, obviously. Like, you've got these names that became well-known as women's college basketball pros that are now playing in your league. Capitalize on it.
Yes. Capitalize on the window you have to maybe you can make the window bigger, but capitalize on it. All right, what's trending at 2, sponsored by Tristan's Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. All right, David, we're going to hit some things real quick here. Over the weekend, we now know the Final Four in the NBA, and one of them, cut 17, Dave, the New York Knicks. They have moved on.
And now the Knicks can dribble it out. For the first time in 2.5 decades, the New York Knicks are going to a conference final. And they do it in dominant fashion as they defeat the Celtics in 6 games. It's their largest playoff win ever.
Yet the Knicks are in the conference finals. Think about this. And I say this all the time. My thing with the Knicks is like, for some reason, and this is really the Northeast media.
Sure.
And the national media push the Knicks like they're on the same level with the Lakers and the Celtics. The Miami Heat have more NBA titles than the New York Knicks. The Knicks have been really, if you just go by one-loss record, irrelevant to comical, except for Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy had some success to a point, but the Knicks have been a B-level franchise at best for a long time. So I will give them their props. They're finally back in the conference finals. Good for you. Can you beat Indiana? Yes. you're going to be favored, matter of fact, to beat Indiana and go to the NBA Finals. And we both know something, and of course the conspiracy theory people are already going crazy, that the NBA wants the Knicks in the Finals.
I think this validates that the NBA is not rigged. Because if you didn't know, Adam Silver grew up a fan of the Knicks, and if it's taken him this long just to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals with how long he's been commissioner, I don't think the NBA can be rigged because of that.
No, because if the NBA was like the NFL, if the NFL was rigged, the Cowboys would be in the Super Bowl all the time.
Cowboys wouldn't have, only won a Super Bowl 30 years ago.
Right. Same thing with the Knicks. The Knicks are a relevant franchise forever and ever and ever. Haven't won an NBA championship in 50-some years.
How thrilled is the NBA that they've gotten this far, though?
Oh, yeah.
Team in the #1 media market that they've been waiting for being successful for 25 years.
And think
has
about
finally
this.
done it.
Think about this for a minute. Look at the other three teams. Again, I'm a basketball dork. I would watch. I might be the only guy outside of Oklahoma City and Indiana that would watch Oklahoma City and Indiana in the NBA Finals because I think that'd be some good ball.
Because outside of the NFL, these other sports, it matters which teams are playing in the finals in terms of viewership.
So, yes, you have an up-and-coming young player in Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, most likely the MVP in SGA in Oklahoma City, and Indiana is a very fun team to watch who plays fast, and Tyrese Halliburton is one of the most unknown gems in the league, right?
Yep.
Casual fan doesn't know a lot of that.
No, not really.
Don't care about Minnesota. Is Kevin Garnett still there? Indiana. Larry Bird play for them? He's from Indiana. My bad. In Oklahoma City. Wow, I can't wait to see Kevin Durant.
It's like that's the Supersonics, right?
Right. So New York is the hope of the NBA offices to get them to the finals, to get that what they think or hope is national juice in this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, nationally, no one outside of New York really cares about the Knicks.
Not really.
So, just saying.
Most people are sick of them being kind of shoved down their throats.
Exactly. Greatest day in the history of the world is next here on the Halftime Show on the Game. Greatest day in the history of the world here on the game. Oh, May 19th, man. Flying through this year, Tyler. May 19th. Greatest day in the history of the world. We'll start with this. In 1935, going old school, the NFL adopted this thing where they pick college players. And they started it a year later in 1936, something called a draft.
Pretty novel concept. Think it'll catch on?
I don't think it's got any legs.
Do you think that'll ever command 300,000 people to come to Green Bay, Wisconsin in the middle of the week?
First of all, how constitutional is this as you're going to tell me where I'm going to work? Aren't you breaking antitrust laws?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Now, I guess you have the option to not sign, so there's your leverage.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is well, I don't know, because if you go through the combine process, isn't that like your application, right? Like if you send off a resume application, whatever, to one of those tip services, and this company comes back and says, "Hey, we want you to come do this job for us." Isn't that kind of the same thing when you think about it? Like you believe you have the abilities to work at this level, so you're waiting on somebody to come select you.
Well,
Isn't
I
that
guess,
kind of the same thing?
Did you think they had a combine in 1936?
Oh, what would that look like? Are we lifting bales of hay?
I was going to say lifting bales of hay, jumping over peach baskets.
Hey, run to that pole. I want to see how fast you can go.
Yeah.
Hey, that looked pretty fast, right? Yeah, it looked pretty fast.
Horseback riding.
Yeah.
All sorts of good stuff. But yeah, well, to be fair, a lot of them didn't play back then. Like Jay Berwanger was the Heisman Trophy winner. He was the first pick overall in the NFL draft. I don't think Berwanger even play in the NFL.
We've talked about this before. A lot of those guys
go make more money.
Go make more money working in the factory. It's like
docks.
Well, football was fun in college, but I got to get a real job now. Let me go work in the glue factory for the next 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ready? Here's the interesting part of this. Jay Berwanger was the first pick ever in the NFL draft, obviously Heisman Trophy winner. He was the first player drafted. The Eagles. It was the Eagles who selected him, but they didn't think they'd be able to meet his reported salary demands of, you ready? $1,000 a game.
Wait, what year is this?
1936.
All right.
So he traded his negotiating rights to the Bears. Berwanger initially chose not to sign with the Bears, in part to preserve his amateur status so he could compete for a spot in the U.S. Olympic team in 1936 for the decathlon. After he missed the Olympics cut, Berwanger and Bears owner George Halas were unable to reach an agreement on salary. Berwanger was requesting, ready for this, $15,000.
For the year?
Halas's final offer was $13,500.
All right, hold on. So 1936, $1,000 a game would be the equivalent to $23,000 a game right now. And then...
So 300 and how many thousand, probably?
So 15,000 in 1936 for an entire year, 348.
So about 350,000, roughly.
He was essentially asking for less than half of what the league minimum is right now.
Does Patrick Mahomes get that per pass?
Honestly, I don't think it takes him a full game to get to that. By the way, have you seen the numbers? So the Brock Purdy numbers on like what his average per game salary, what it was on his rookie deal. He makes that like every 7 days now, based on this new deal.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That's what Mr. Irrelevant got on a rookie deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, so Berwanger does not come to an agreement with the Bears. Instead, he takes a job with the Chicago Rubber Company and becomes a part-time coach at the University of Chicago. Berwanger later in his life did express regret. He did not accept Halas's offer. But he did start playing with the Chicago rugby team. Just saying. So that was what happened. So I guess back then, again, you didn't have to play if you didn't want to because, again, you weren't like being drafted didn't mean you had to. And the union, the NFL union, I just looked this up, the Players Association was formed in 1956, so obviously there was no union in 1936. So, no, you didn't play if you didn't feel like it. But that was the first draft, 1936. Jay Berwanger was taken. Too bad the draft thing didn't take off at all.
Yeah, no.
What a shame. 1962, some dude named Stan Musial breaks Honus Wagner's NL hit record with his 3,431st hit. I will say this all the time. I never saw Stan Musial play, obviously. But all I know is this. Everything I have read or seen or heard, maybe the most underrated player in the history of the game of baseball could be Stan Musial.
Okay.
Just if you get bored, look up those numbers.
All right.
Again, obviously, set the National League record for hits. I believe he might have, was he Triple Crown guy? I don't know, but I know this. Stan Musial's numbers are sick. And no one ever talks about Stan Musial.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal baseball player. On this day in 1973, Secretariat, ridden by Ron Turcotte, rallies from last with a powerful move to the clubhouse turn to win the Preakness Stakes by 2.5 lengths over Sham. There's a controversy in the timing of the race. Before it's all said and done, Secretariat's time at 1:54 and 2/5, I do believe, was the Preakness record at the time. And then, of course, Secretariat went to the Belmont a couple weeks later and won by 700 lengths.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see that video?
Yep.
It's sick. Secretariat winning the Belmont. But 1973 on this day, Secretariat wins the Preakness. And the jockey Ron Turcotte then went and did the running of the urinals. No.
Is that a requirement for all the jockeys?
Once you win, you have to go do the running of the urinals. It's like a tradition.
Now it's your turn to run.
Go get them.
And the horse is on their back.
Oh, man. 1974, the Broad Street Bullies won the NHL Stanley Cup. The Philadelphia Flyers beat the Boston Bruins 1-0. They beat the Bruins in 6 games. And, of course, the Flyers were the first teams to use shivs while being on the ice. That crew was, man, that crew was something else. 1979 Spectacular Bid, ridden by Ronnie Franklin, wins the Preakness by 5.5 lengths. That was a Baltimore-bred horse who then went to the Belmont and got beat, but everybody thought that horse was a shoo-in to win the Triple Crown. It did not. In the Stanley Cup final, Wayne Gretzky scores twice. Edmonton beats the New York Islanders to win the Stanley Cup. It was the Oilers' first Stanley Cup title, and of course they went on to win 3 more with Gretzky. Then they won another one without Gretzky in Edmonton. And of course now Edmonton, they're in the Stanley Cup conference finals.
Yep.
1990, Hobart wins their 11th straight NCAA Division III lacrosse championship, beating Washington College. 11 straight NCAA tournament lacrosse championships.
Does that count as a dynasty?
Boy, North Carolina, how many straight women's soccer championships? Is that 10? I
Something
think they
crazy
won with
like
Mia
that.
Hamm and that crew or whatever. 11 straight lacrosse championships for Hobart. Crazy. Oh. Greatest day in the history of the world. Got a couple more for you.
All right.
You know who I've got a little racing for you. Willie T. Ribbs.
Yep.
You know what he did on this day in 1991?
Oh, God. Something. Okay, he either qualified for the Indy 500 or something with Trans Am.
Became the first black driver to make the lineup at the Indy 500.
There you go.
Look at you. Look at you over there. You're not as confident as you are on the NASCAR with the Indy car, but you got it. You got it. You nailed it.
Listen,
you nailed it.
IndyCar has a very complicated history for anybody that's familiar with it.
All right. Greatest day in the history of the world. 2014, Lucy Lee becomes the youngest player to qualify for the U.S. Women's Open by winning a sectional qualifier at Half Moon Bay in California. The 11-year-old shoots rounds of 74 and 68 on a par 72 course. Surpasses Lexi Thompson as the youngest competitor at the U.S. Women's Open when she tees off at Pinehurst on June 19th. Again, 2014. Lexi Thompson was 12 when she qualified for the 07 Open. Lucy Liu is 11 years old, my friend.
I think she's accomplished more at 11 than we've done in our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2015, really quick, the NFL announced it's moving back the extra point to allow defenses to score conversions on turnovers and to make the extra point more of a play. It was moved back.
Legitimately one of the best rule changes they've ever made.
And I thought it was stupid, but it was a great rule change.
It's been great. It's phenomenal.
I give them credit. I was totally wrong. That's the greatest day in the history of the world here on The Game, sponsored by, like it is all the time now, by our buddies at Purple Weave. Choose Purple Weave for hassle-free, no reserve equipment auctions, Purple Wave Auction. All right, we'll get back in here, and we will do our handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine, our Firehouse Sub Text the Hour here on the halftime show on The Game. All right, Firehouse Sub Text the hour. Then we'll do our handoff with our buddy Jay Phillips from the post-game show, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine. What do you got there on the old text line there, Tyler?
We were discussing weather in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff in Elgin says they have 2 seasons there, winter and road construction.
That is so good.
In Ohio.
Ohio. You know what? Again, I lived in Ohio for 2 years. Jeff is correct.
That's correct.
Jeff is correct. Winter and road construction. Yeah, we were just talking about.
Am I on? Do you hear me?
I don't. My headphones aren't working.
We
so
don't
I
know anything about it. Just pull all these microphones in front of you until something works. We're having some technical difficulties today. See if that one works, Jay.
Hi.
I think that one works.
Is that better? Okay.
There we go. How about that one?
Nice to be back on the Tyler Head
All
Sports
right, there we
Experience.
go. The Tyler Head Sports Experience, starring Tyler Head. Yeah, we were talking about weather, like, what was it? So some of the because we were talking about this noon kickoff thing.
Yeah, Ohio.
In
State
Ohio?
only playing noon games, and somebody said, "Well, they gotta appreciate that because the weather gets nasty." And I'm like, "Well, I think in Ohio, once you get into like October, it's like, well, it's gonna be 45 degrees or cooler anyway. So
I guess
does it make that big of a difference?
Y'all brought up the state
Yes.
representative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of took it in 15 different directions, but the one thing was someone texted saying, well, noon is warmer than 7:30 at night. Is like in Ohio, they don't care.
If you drink enough during the day, it doesn't matter.
You're warm.
I mean, when did I thought Big Ten people loved noon games? When did that stop?
They do until you have 8 of them a year.
Yeah, I mean, all I know
all
is
of
this.
them are your home games.
Because again, the funny thing about the state of Ohio is because you have pro sports.
Yeah.
And typically when you have pro sports, you don't have as rabid of a following for the college sports.
But,
no, not in Ohio.
No, Ohio's like Georgia.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That state shuts down for Ohio State football.
Yeah.
Absolutely does. So, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
it's
get
an absolute thing.
You know, the Browns and Bengals have fans, but
Oh, the Browns have a rabid fan base.
they rank they rank below.
Oh, in the state, because in the state, far and away in the state, it's Ohio State football.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they take it rather serious there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mind noon games anymore. I guess I wouldn't want 7 or 8 of them, but
Well, that's what it is. It's more getting Foxes.
But you know,
get it.
again. You know what? Go ahead and write the law, Mr. Lawmaker, and let's see if the governor wants to sign it. I mean, what are we? You know, that's just.
Well, it's just silly. You know why he did it, because it's why they all do it.
Yeah.
You know, they all get up and pander to the fan base. They could, because I don't know about you, I'm voting for the guy that gets me the 7:30 kickoff.
By the way, how many problems do you think are going on in his district right now that are being overlooked?
You ready? Forget the cracked roads.
None.
Forget all the infrastructure problems we're having. Let's move that noon kickoff. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Well, good luck, Ohio State.
Yeah, go get them, baby.
We're pulling for you. It's
Absolutely.
going to be a long season.
Oh, yeah.
Starting off with that Texas game, by the way. Probably at noon.
They might actually. I don't know. I think I still. We have a spread on that already?
I think it was like 3.5. I looked earlier.
I think I like Ohio State.
Ohio State is they'll just reload. That's what they'll do. I mean, if you're the new quarterback, Julian Sayin, he's played as many games as we have, but ready. You see the guy wearing number 4? You might want to throw it to him a lot.
Well, again, he'll have 5 guys that start that'll play in the NFL, plus 3 or at least currently that'll back them up that'll play in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Smith
Ohio
is the
State
best
will be just
receiver in
fine.
football. They'll have a couple of tailbacks.
Yeah,
They'll have other receivers that are also going to be very good.
and there'll be guys on defense who are all 10 stars.
The defense
They'll
will
be
force
fine.
a lot of punts. Quite often, really, let's face it, it hasn't mattered that much. That's why no Ohio State quarterbacks are successful in the National Football League.
We've talked about this so many times.
It's ironic. Like the worst guy on the team is the quarterback.
Just basically, you're looked at, dude, you've got a lot of really, really good people around you. Just throw it to them.
Don't screw it up.
Don't try to do too much.
Yeah.
It's very simple. We talked this. Ohio State and Oklahoma until the Brent Venables era, they're pretty much lock them in, Jay, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins all the time.
Yeah, Oklahoma. In fact, we're a little bit of, I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but I put it on my rundown because I was watching a thing about Auburn. But, who has the most pressure on them this year in the SEC? Oklahoma, Auburn, Florida, other?
Yeah. I think Brent Venables better win big.
I think it's
Brent
Oklahoma.
Venables better win big. What do you got coming up besides that?
Paul Maneri at 5:15.
All right,
So we'll
fantastic.
see what he has to say.
Tyler, Dave, good work. Jay and Elijah, your next post-game show in the game.